Good morning. Welcome back. Today we will discuss the economic causes for the revolt of 1857. So many economic factors were responsible for the revolt of 1857. They are exploitation of economic resources, drain of wealth, decay of cottage industries and handicrafts, economic decline of peasantry, growing unemployment, inhuman treatment of indigo cultivators, poverty and famines, decline of landed aristocracy. First one, exploitation of economic resources. Before the arrival of the British, Indian village economy was self-sufficient and the cultivators were happy with their traditional way of cultivation. But the British transformed agricultural India into an economic colony of industrial England. They forced the Indians to export the raw materials from India to England and to accept ready-made goods from England. And for this trade, the Indian farmers did not get any reasonable price. Thus, condition of the farmers became worse. Next one is drain of wealth. The transfer of wealth from India to England, for which India got no proportionate economic return, is termed as drain of wealth. In the beginning of the British trade with India, the European traders brought money and gold in huge quantity to give the Indians in return to the Indian trade. But after the Battle of Plassey in 1757, they stopped bringing money from England and gold from England. Instead, they used the Indian money to purchase Indian goods. They got the Diwani of Bengal, Bihar and Orissa. They collected taxes from the people and this revenue money they used for purchasing commodities from the Indian people, and they took away these commodities to England. So this way they drained India's wealth. Some other ways of drain of India's wealth were the salaries and allowances given to the European officials in India, salaries of the European soldiers in India, maintenance of the expense of the maintenance of the British Army in India, the expense of luxurious life of the Europeans in India, income and savings of the Europeans in India. All these are some ways of drain of wealth. Next one is decay of cottage industries and handicrafts. The industrial policies of British ruined the Indian industry. We can say the British ruined the Indian industries. There are some reasons. The Indian markets were flooded with the British machine-made goods, and the Indian commodities were not able to compete with the machine-made goods coming from England. The reasons were the commodities coming from England were cheaper in rate and those were superior in quality. So the Indian customers preferred these cheaper and superior goods. As a result, the demand for Indian made goods decreased. And at the same time, the British increased the export duty of Indian made goods in foreign countries. And the Indian made goods became costly in European countries, and that is why, or thus the demand for Indian made goods in the other countries also decreased. As a result, when the demand for the Indian made goods decreased, the Indian people who involved in handicrafts and the other cottage industries had to stop their works because there was no demand for their goods. Finally, these industries were ruined. The next one is economic decline of peasantry. The British introduced many revenue reforms in India, and when they introduced the revenue reforms, the zamindars and the landlords exploited the Indian peasants. The British increased the land revenue so high that the Indians were unable to pay it, and due to the inability of payment of taxes, the farmers were punished by the British. When they found it difficult to pay the tax, the Indian farmers approached the moneylenders in order to get loans. And for the inability to repay the loans in time as well as to pay rents in time, the zamindars and the moneylenders beaten up the Indian people and they exploited the Indian farmers. Next one is growing unemployment. We have already seen decay of cotton industries and handicrafts. When the cotton industries and the handicrafts declined, they were ruined. Large number of people who engaged in the cotton industries and the handicrafts, they became unemployed. Besides this, when the British annexed the Indian territories, thousands of Indian soldiers working under the native Indian ruler, so many other officials who are working in the administrative, judicial and the other fields of the Indian life, they all became unemployed. And a number of scholars, artists, writers, preachers, etc. were getting financial support or grants from the native Indian rulers, and when the Indian territory was annexed by the British, they all lost their grants from the Indian rulers. So they also faced the difficulties and unemployment. Thus the British policies, economic policies, increased unemployment in India. Next one is inhuman treatment of indigo cultivators. The British exploited indigo cultivators, especially peasants in Bengal, Bihar and Orissa. Indigo is a substance which was very urgently needed in the textile industries in England. Indigo was a commercial product, and the cultivation of indigo is not profitable for the Indian farmers. Yet the British planters forced the Indian farmers to cultivate indigo, and they had to work under inhuman conditions. And after all, the British only decided the price of the commodity, and they paid very less price to the Indian people for the indigo cultivation. Thus, the cultivation of the indigo farmers, their condition also became very horrible and pathetic. The next one is poverty and famines. Between the period of 1770 to 1857, there were 12 major and number of minor famines in India. And during this time, the life of the Indian people was quite miserable, but the British authorities did nothing for the help of the Indian people. This alienated the Indian people. The next one is a decline of landed aristocracy. The British appointed an Inam Commission in 1852. And Inam is a tax-free land. Inam was granted to any person who is giving extraordinary service to the Indian ruler or the British. It was given during the British time as well as the native rulers' time. But the British appointed Inam Commission in 1852 in order to look into the records of this Inam, this gifted land. And as per the recommendation of the Inam Commission, more than 20,000 estates were confiscated by the British. When these estates were confiscated by the British, the estate holders' economic condition became very pathetic, and they turned against the British. So they became the bitter enemies of the British as their economic condition became very bad. So this that also affected. So that is also another cause for the revolt of 1857. Thus, finally, once again, the economic causes for the revolt of 1857. First one, exploitation of economic resources. Second, drain of wealth. Third, decay of cottage industries and handicrafts. Fourth, economic decline of peasantry. Fifth, growing unemployment. Sixth, inhuman treatment of indigo cultivators. Seven, poverty and famines. And eighth one, decline of landed aristocracy. So that's all about the economic cause of revolt of 1857. You read and understand the lesson.